Warriors! August 15th was an absolute critical date, not only in 1971, but in 2021. I would highly recommend you watch this video all the way through. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you'll have it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Now, that statement that I say before every single video is the most important, because since 1971, you've been, well, from longer before that, but since 1971, you've been predictive programming to be in the time and moment and space that you're in right now. I want to repeat that. The moment in time you're in right now, you've been predictive programmed for this moment in time. And the biggest date was August 15th, 1971, when we detached from the gold standard. And I don't know why more people are not talking about this in the cryptocurrency space, because this is the 50-year jubilee. We're at the 50-year anniversary of detaching from the gold standard. We're in a monetary system where quantitative easing is out of control. More money's been printed since the inception of Bitcoin. And within the last 18 months, about 26% of the money supply has been printed in history. Think about that for just a moment. You have an overvalued stock market of 234%. So warriors, we have to get to that 30,000 foot overview and look at the big picture. You cannot deny that there's something massive happening within our economics. We are having one of the biggest shifts in an asset class. We have a brand new asset class coming in. Right? We have $100 trillion market cap for the economy, right? And there's only $2 trillion in cryptocurrency right now. So if you're early to cryptocurrency, you were early, or you feel like you're late, you are so unbelievably early in an immature market, warriors. There is so much that needs to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm going to share some videos with you guys, and I'm going to share with you where we are heading. This is where I believe we're heading 100%. And it started with this video in 1971. So I want to give a shout out to Carl Menger Center for Study of Money and Banking. I did a great job with this 1-minute clip. This is, and I've showed this to you guys before. Now, do I repeat some videos? Absolutely. It's called predictive programming. I want you to be predictive programmed to the right things. I want you to understand the economics of what's happening. I don't want you to just get caught up in cryptocurrency trying to get rich quick. We are working to build generational wealth. Now, when you see massive price appreciation within the next 60 to 90 days, you got to be ready with the game plan, warriors. So that's what we teach in our Warrior Academy down below. You can click the link to join our Warrior Academy. So we're going to watch this video in 1971, and I'm going to take you through a critical date coming up that most people aren't talking about, which is August 23rd, this month. The IMF and the SDR is about to do something historical that is going to change the way we do everything, in my opinion. It's all about money flows, warriors. Think about this. America specifically, I live in America, so I'll talk about America. We are printing money into oblivion. People are getting $250 checks if you have children. There is just money falling out of the sky. You cannot sustain that, warriors. We're in a low interest rate environment. They're printing money into oblivion. They are shifting your whole economic system. We are on the verge of a massive financial reset. Started in 1971. So let's watch this video, listen closely, and then I'm going to take you through my narrative on what I think is about to happen within the next 10 years.
The strength of a nation's currency is based on the strength of that nation's economy. And the American economy is by far the strongest in the world. Accordingly, I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
So now he did this and said that he's doing this to create monetary stability. And since 1971, we just started printing. And I want you to think about this. Since 1913 to now, your dollar's inflated over 2,000%, about 2,400%. $1 in 1931, $1 was for $1, right? And now it takes $26 for the same dollar. And ask yourself, has your pay gone up? No. Productivity has gone through the roof, but your pay has not gone through the roof. The rich are getting richer and the poor are going to continue to get poorer.
Now, what is this action, which is very technical, what does it mean for you? let me lay to rest the bugaboo of what is called devaluation. If you want to buy a foreign car or take a trip abroad, market conditions may cause your dollar to buy slightly less. But if you are among the overwhelming majority of Americans who buy American-made products in America, your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today. The effect of this action, in other words, will be to stabilize the dollar.
Okay, think about that. He said, you're worried about devaluation. Well, guess what? That's what you should be worried about, because your currency has devalued dramatically. Now, this is one of my favorite channels, Stansberry Research. I highly recommend you go like, subscribe, comment to her videos. Like, subscribe, comment, subscribe to her videos. Now we're going to watch this. This guy is absolutely amazing. I love this guy, Simon Dixon. I'm going to show you the company he owns at the end, but he has predicted the markets. Now he's heavily into cryptocurrency and he is connected to Ripple as well. And I'll show you that at the end, but that's not what the video is about. I want you to listen to the first 4 minutes of this video. This video is going to be a little bit longer, Warriors, but it's important that you watch this video. Let me restart this real quick. So it's important that you go and watch the full video here. Okay. And it's very important that you understand what he is saying. I'm trying to teach you economics. I'm not going to come in here and say, you're going to get rich in crypto or sell you a cryptocurrency that's going to price appreciate. I'm here to teach you economics so you can build generational wealth, Warriors. That's what we do in our Warrior Academy. Okay, so watch this first part of this video. Listen very closely to what he says, what's happening in the economy.
What tends to happen is certain news items seep through the cracks here. And one of them is regarding the IMF back in October, saying that we might see a return to some sort of Bretton Woods. That was the call from their managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, back in October. And I want to talk about this today with my guest, Simon Dixon. He is the CEO and co-founder of the online investment platform banktothefuture.com. He also wrote a book 10 years ago with the same name, Bank to the Future, in which he predicted the crisis that we're experiencing now in 2020. He also has another prediction, which we will get to. But first, welcome to the show, Simon.
So make sure you go watch the video and listen to his prediction. I want to keep you in suspense. We're going to watch this first part, and then I'm going to take you through the narrative, what's actually happening. So this is his opinion. Then I'm going to show you facts, figures, numbers, logic.
Hey, really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm happy to have you. I mean, Max Kaiser has called you the best investment banker in Bitcoin. So I thought you'd be the perfect person to talk, obviously, Bitcoin, digital currency. But first, this message from the managing director of the IMF that we might see a new Bretton Woods. What do you make of it, and what would it look like?
So I think that we're leaning towards a central bank digital currency world. I first created a video in 2016 saying that central bank digital currencies would be used as a new mechanism to bail out bankrupt banks, and central banks would wage war on banks. And so the IMF recently made an announcement, and I created some commentary going through trying to translate what the IMF is saying into everyday language so people could understand it. But the IMF is calling for Bretton Woods 2, and it totally got drowned in the election and pandemic, as you said in the intro, because it's a really, really significant event. And that is that the IMF is a very socialist organization that has tried on several occasions since 1944 to inflict a global currency on the world, since John Maynard Keynes tried to introduce the bank law, and we ended up with the US dollar debt-backed standard instead.
Okay, so think about that. In 1944, they were trying to create a one world economy, right? So in 1971 was the detachment from the gold standard to bring us to this position, to bring us to our knees, to show, remember, problem, reaction, solution. Create a problem, create a reaction with the people, and then the solution is a one world economy.
And the IMF is getting ready now that all central bank balance sheets are completely out of control. Governments are entering into, well, globally, we're in $250 trillion of global debt. And I think...
So listen to that. Globally, $250 trillion in global debt. We're printing money to oblivion. So do you really think there's not going to be an economic shift or a great reset in your economy? Think about that, Warriors. Every fiat currency has collapsed in history. Which side of the coin are you going to be on?
But the next stage after this election, after this health crisis, is banks' balance sheets being exposed for what they actually are. And so the IMF is the perfect type of organization that would like to be involved in negotiating a new monetary system and putting their central bank digital currency at the center of that in order to really put forward what they tried to achieve with special drawing rights, but didn't quite get as far as they wanted to go.
Okay, so I'm going to let you go watch the rest of that video. It is so intriguing and so interesting. So it's Stansberry Research, Bitcoin Revolution is now Bretton Woods reset. Okay, so now you heard what he said is they're trying to come up with their own global currency. We know that Ripple is connected to the IMF. Okay, you can go down that rabbit hole if you want to. But this was released on, what's the date here? I want to give you the proper date, August 2nd, 2021. I don't know why most people aren't talking about this. So IMF governor approves a historic 650 billion SDR allocation of special drawing rights, a historical decision, the largest SDR allocation in history of the IMF, and a shot in the arm for the global economy at a time in unprecedented crisis. The SDR allocation will benefit all members, addressing the long-term global need for reserves, build confidence, and foster resilience and stability of the global economy. It will particularly help our most vulnerable countries struggling to cope with the impact of the C word. IMF Managing Director Christina Giorgiovanni, I can't say her name properly. The general allocation of SDRs will become effective on August 23rd. The newly created SDRs will be credited to the IMF member countries in proportionate to their existing quotas in the fund. Okay, so they're gonna literally start printing at the SDR level, warriors. So what this signals to me is, yes, they are moving towards creating a one world economy from the SDR position. And I've showed you guys in the past what it would look like if Ripple XRP was the infrastructure to run the currencies, the digital currencies, the CBDCs through an SDR type system. Okay, I'll try to find that video for you guys this week, or that video that I did for you guys. So this is historical. So the 23rd is going to be huge, warriors. This is historical stuff happening. But like in 1944, they were trying to create a one world economy, right? 1971, they detached from the gold standard. Now America is the powerhouse. The dollar is the powerhouse. Okay, so why are they weakening the dollar so much? Is it part of the narrative? What's happening here, warriors? And is that why America is putting the brakes on and putting all this resistance up for crypto when all other countries are moving fast towards digital adoption? Is it all part of the narrative? And are we getting duped? Who knows, warriors? So let's take a look, okay? The IMF posted this 21 hours ago. The collapse of the system of fixed exchange rates shook the world in 1971, but paved the way for the modern international monetary system. Let me read that again. Listen to what I just said in the beginning of this video. The collapse of the system of a fixed exchange rate shook the world in 1971, but paved the way for a modern international monetary system as we contemplated how the digital age may further alter the system. The past holds lessons. Okay. Now, if you go here to the IMF blog, from the history books, the rethinking of international monetary system, you scroll down here to the bottom, it says what the future may hold. The collapse of the system of fixed exchange rates shook the world in 1971, but monetary systems exist to serve the needs of mankind. And as our societies evolve, so too must our societal systems. The world in 1971 was not as it was in 1944. Remember what they said in 1944? They tried to create a one world economy. In 1971 was not as it was in 1944. Just as our world today bears only some resemblance to the reality of 1971. Today, fundamental transformations are accelerating the development, deployment, and adoption of digital money. Could a digital transformation of an international monetary system soon be underway? Regardless of how the system evolves, the bedrock principle that is stability will depend on the international monetary cooperation will remain. So let's go back to this SDR message. If they're printing money at the SDR level, they're literally, so how do you trap somebody with money? So if you're giving all this money to everybody, you're becoming the controller of the ecosystem. Okay, so let's move on. So this is from Christina. I can't say her name. You know who she is. This lady right here. This beautiful soul right here. Okay, so let's move on to this this deck that she created. Okay, bolstering the recovery. countering the diversions. This is a global policy agenda. Okay. This is stuff that I do all day. I'm such a nerd. Okay. So this is her document here, but I want to read this part to you really quickly. Okay. So this is on page 3 of the document. It says the fund will scale up its work in microfinancial issues in response to the IEO evaluation of the fund's financial surveillance. It also ramp up the work on implications of central bank digital currencies, a privately issued digital money for monetary policies in the IMS, which are the core of the fund's mandate. Our surveillance will seek to provide systematic assessments of risk, of financial stability, integrity from digital money. As experience and development of the international standard are established, let me read that again. As experience in the development of an international standard are established, well, our policy development will focus on currency substitution. Let me read that line again. You can interpret this how you want. As our experience is developed and international standards are established, well, our policy development will focus on currency substitution, monetary policy transmission, capital account restriction, capital flow volatility, among others. CD is in the area will focus on helping EMDES leverage opportunities of digitalization and including CBDCs while making cyber our other risk. Think about that. The digital transformation governments, it's everywhere. It's all over here, warriors. It is moving into a new monetary system. Now, this isn't going to happen right away. It's going to happen slowly and methodically as they work to regulate it. I mean, they're behind you don't think they're behind the scenes talking about globally how they're going to do this? Why do you think they're starting to give us $250 checks in America? Why do you think they're starting the UBI type system? You give people money, you keep them quiet, warriors. So this is the type of articles that are coming out 50 years ago. After going off the gold, the dollar must go for crypto. Now, this a long article from Bloomberg. They talk about all the things happening within the Senate hearing. It's just kind of going back and forth. They're not specifically saying the dollar will go for crypto, but it kind of gives the narrative of why is the government getting so involved and so big on regulating cryptocurrency. And then the news continues, warriors. NYDF is now hiring a new deputy superintendent for virtual currencies. The move will bolster the state's by a bit license regulatory following the superintendent, Linda, okay? The deputy superintendent role, the research and innovation division, has a special focus on virtual currencies, digital currencies, blockchain, distributed ledger technology, and other related innovative derivative products and technologies according to the job specs. The incumbent of this position will provide expertise to support policy decisions, the regulation of emerging innovation markets, including virtual currencies, virtual currency markets and business. They will provide leadership to guide the department's strategy on these issues and engaging the industry, the posting said. So this is what's this? New York, right? This is New York. Yeah, NYD, New York. And then we got Biden administration to pick acting chairman Rostin Binman to head the CFTC. Now, remember, the CFTC said that XRP is not a security, and Rostin Binman is a crypto-friendly CFTC leader that will be coming in. That's very exciting. Retail giant Walmart hiring cryptocurrency lead to develop digital currency strategy and products. We know that VeChain is connected to Walmart. They're already running it in Walmart Shanghai for food safety. Whereas, as we say, the freight train has left the building. But I'm going to back up on that statement and say the freight train is still at the station. You still have time to pack your bags, because what I believe is going to happen, we're going to have massive price appreciation on the back end of this year coming up very soon. There's going to be some life-changing wealth coming in, okay? Number one. Number two, most people are going to get wrecked because they do not have a game plan or they're not around wise counsel or good people who are going to support them on understanding how to pull profits or how to reinvest those profits or how to build true generational wealth. And number three, warriors, the biggest shift in generational is right now. There's 10,000 baby boomers retiring per day, and about 45% of the wealth is tied up in 35% of the population. We are literally in a time where the rich are going to get extremely rich, some of us, and the poor are going to get extremely poor. The middle class is going to get wiped out, leveraged toward technology, basically paraphrasing what Jerome Powell said. The head of the Fed says, I'm worried about the middle class. They are going to get wiped out, leveraged towards technology. So let's end with this here. This is a gentleman, if we go back to this video that I showed you guys, this is the gentleman that's speaking right here. This is his company. I'd highly recommend you check it out, banktothefuture.com. If you look at, there's this beautiful picture right there. If you go over here, if you look at their portfolio companies, you are going to see Ripple. So if we just scroll through here, Ripple's everywhere, Warriors. I mean, it's like the SEC case just shocks me that it even exists. Ripple provides frictionless experience to send money globally using the power of blockchain. The Ripple offers global, you can read that. Okay. Well, Warriors, we're here. We made it to the end of the video. Very few people will make it this far. That's a fact. Say 10,000 people watch it. Probably around 1,000 will make it. I call it the 10% rule if I did my math correctly. I've realized that out of 100 people, there's only one warrior. That's the truth. It's a fact. We're in a society where everybody wants to get rich quick. Well, I finally removed that from my subconscious mind a year and a half ago, and I started working towards building generational wealth. I took myself from losing my money the third time to completely changing my paradigm in the worst economic times in the world. I was able to build $1 million company. I was able to amass a nice little asset portfolio that's set up for some really big price appreciation. But that's not where the generational wealth comes in. It's understanding the shift and how to take advantage of that. It's understanding what to do with your profits when you pull it out of the crypto space. It's understanding how to be in fundamental cryptocurrencies that are going to change the world. And it's understanding where the world is heading. How do you think Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger became some of the richest people in the world? They bought the fear. You should be buying the fear right now, selling the news. Stop following what the sheep are doing. As you look this way to pandemic, there's a whole nother narrative happening this way, Warriors. So we have two programs. We have our new company launching. I want to make this very clear. There's been some confusion. The number one program we have is in the link down below. It is our Warrior Academy, access to my portfolio, exit strategy, frequent calls throughout the week around crypto, okay? We have the 120-day challenge, subconscious mind programming, goal setting, vision board creation. You work out with us live daily nutrition. There's no program like this in history. If you truly engage yourself for 120 days, you will change your life. So that's in the description down below. We also have another program called Uncommon 1%. It's a company that we're launching. It is launching. We already have people on the waiting list. So you have to join a waiting list. If you go to my Instagram page, CoachJV_, if you are an influencer or you're somebody who wants to become an influencer and has knowledge that you want to turn into a business to create freedom, only if you have something to offer the world. This is not teach someone how to make money online. You have to have a product or service or knowledge that you can actually add value to the world. Because if you can add value to the world, you can create freedom and get out of the just over broke system. So if you have a message you want to share with the world, if you're an influencer and you don't know how to share your message, we created a program where we take you through a 6-week boot camp to help you spread that message. So you go to my Instagram page, CoachJV_, you go into an application process and you'll be interviewed by our team. You'll go through a group call first to make sure that it's the right fit for you. And then you'll go through an interview process to see if you fit. We're going to be selectively picking people and we'll take people through 6-week boot camp. And then the waiting list will roll over to the next week. And then we're going to help as many people as possible create freedom so we can break free from this crazy ass system. I love you guys. Appreciate you. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Let's go.